You're listening to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the #1 sports talk show on the planet, The Doug Stewart Show.
This is a revolution in radio, the realest, trillest sports talk show in America, The Doug Stewart Show.
Broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
This is sports talk for the people.
Follow Stewart Media and Entertainment right now on Facebook to stay connected and locked in for upcoming events like the Couples and Cocktail Series, viewing parties, and much, much more. Up next, get ready to ride raw with the Doug Stewart Show.
This is sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
Exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
Yes! Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all of your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bvmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's BV, V as in victory, mobileapps.com, and tell them Doug Stewart sent you. Yes, sir!
Doctor, this is the mayor talking.
All right.
Doctor,
Come on, what?
always do the right thing.
If you came here to hear for fake, you are in the wrong place. We are for real around here. We keeps it real. This is the Doug Stewart Show, the livest, the realest, the trillest sports talk show in America. Are you not entertained? This is Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce, the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Game time. Game time! Game time! Yes, sir! What's happening? Welcome to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Tribute Tuesday, and oh boy, we got a lot of great things in store for you today. Exhilarating, and I did say exhilarating sports talk and guy talk right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the Doug Stewart Show. But first, we got to bring that beat back. Bring it back. Yes, sir. Bring it back. Oh, I love when I do that. Yeah, so thank you for joining your boy on the Doug Stewart Show. Once again, Tribute Tuesday, and we got a great, I don't think I listed it in the details of today's show. But man, when you talk about paying tribute, today we're going to pay tribute to one of the pioneers or a group of pioneers. Today, in music, we're going to pay homage, pay tribute to the great Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Yes, sir. Oh, you don't get no more pioneerish than you do with those guys, man. The Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, coming from the Boogie Down Bronx. Robert Keith, Cowboy Wiggins, who's dead now, Melly Mel, the Kid Creole, there's Solid Gold, Eddie Mr. Ness, Scorpio Morris, Guy, Todd, Raheem the Dream Williams. Yeah, so we're going to pay homage to those guys today. Coming back from the breaks, we play some of their music. Man, so they first hit the scene in 1979. I'm looking at this little bio on these cats online. 78. They were actually formed in 78. I think the first record that they dropped, Freedom, was in 1979. So a lot of this stuff, man. So 79, I was, 9 years old? And so they came around at the same time as Sugar Hill, the Sugar Hill Gang. And so, man, you're talking about taking a ninja back to 1979, to the very, very beginning of this thing we call rap. Yes, sir. So we'll have some fun with that today. Before I even get into today's topics, I am sure, and we are close to 300,000 followers. We're going to cross over 300,000 followers sometime this month, and that's a tremendous accomplishment. Thank you, studio audience. Thank you. So we're about to cross over 300,000 listens. We went from 200,000 to 300,000 much faster than we did from 100 to 200, and so and so. So that's a huge accomplishment. Close, very close to 10,000 followers to the show. We've been doing some new marketing around here over the last couple of days, the last 2 days. And so we've noticed a spike in the listeners. We actually launched another campaign on yesterday. So I know we're actually going to have a ton of new listeners today. If you're joining the Doug Stewart Show for the first time right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. And thank you very much. And it's the Doug Stewart Show, one half of the world-famous Two Live Stews. As a matter of fact, me and my brother do a show now on Saturday mornings on 640 WGST right here in the ATL. But you've reached the Doug Stewart Show Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. The realest, treeless, most fun, most unfiltered sports and guy talk show in America. You have arrived. Yes, you have. Praise his holy name. You have arrived. And you will be entertained. Trust me. I mean, we talk about sports, whatever dude's talking about in the barbershop. We do top five sometimes. We talk about birthdays. I read a lot of your chats, so the show is totally interactive. And we gets down around here like nobody else. This is a no puppet zone. This is a no puppet zone. We keep it real around this bitch. Okay, we do. We do. And what you need to do is you need to follow the show on Spreaker. Hit the little follow button on Spreaker.com. Some of you might be listening on my website or the app. Follow the show on Spreaker.com. Hit the little follow button so whenever the show goes live, you'll get an alert. As well as after you do that, hit the little chat bubble and jump into the chat room and be totally interactive with your boy and the Stewies. That's what I call them. And I call that chat room the Fantasy Island of Sports and Guy Chat. Yes. So follow the show on Spreaker, hit the chat bubble, and be interactive. And pass the word. Tell at least one person. All right, so today, man, obviously we're going to talk about the Monday night game last night, Lions versus Seahawks. I'll give you my thoughts on that. If you heard the show yesterday, you know that I'm really I guess the best way is to say is I try to be professional in talking about other members of the media. I'm usually very careful about talking about people that I actually know, and then I'm even more careful about people that I know that are actually members of my fraternity. But I think that I have to give you some commentary and thoughts about this whole Stephen A. Smith, Kevin Durant situation that's out there. I mean, it was just inundated on the on social media yesterday. Everybody's talking about it. If you don't know the story, Stephen A. Smith said that he had this good sources that said that if Kevin Durant doesn't go to or re-sign with the Oklahoma City Thunder or go home to D.C. to play for the Wizards, that he's likely to sign with the Lakers. Kevin Durant called him a liar, a bold-faced liar. Stephen A. Smith came back to quasi-threaten dude. So I'll give you my thoughts on it. As much as I can with kid gloves, once again because of the personal relationships. But I'm going to keep it real. Don't get it twisted. I'll keep it real. Also, the Dolphins make a change at their head coaching position. Rex Ryan's. I cannot stand no punk-ass Rex Ryan. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Oh, man. This guy is the modern day. He's the football or the sports version of Donald Trump. He is just talking out the side of his neck. And I didn't get a chance to get into it yesterday. We did a bunch of ballers and busters yesterday, a.k.a. game balls and goats. So I didn't even get a chance to get into it, man. But I'm not a fan of Rex Ryan, just off the rip. But we'll discuss what he had to say after their loss this past weekend. We'll talk about all of that stuff, man. We'll talk about it. We'll do that. DraftKings, insider trading going on. Just a lot of stuff today, man. Once again, we'll talk birthdays, and we'll have a lot of fun here on the Doug Stewart Show. All right, I talked about the chat room, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I talked about the chat room, but you can also give your boy a call, old school sports talk radio style, at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. But once again, the easy way to be interactive, and you'll see I'll read a lot of chat within the next 2 hours, the fastest 2 hours in sports and entertainment. But the easiest way is just to hit me up in the chat room on Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker, Spreaker.com, and that's how we will do it on the show, all right? And just like that, a damn segment gone. We've been trying to add a third hour. The Stewies want that third hour. That's what I call the people that listen to the show in the chat room. The Stewies want and yearn for a third hour. We are working diligently to get that for you, okay? But in the meantime, get you a healthy dose of these sports and conversation. Oh, yeah, every once in a while, I even sing for your ass. That's right. You heard me. If you're new to the show, you heard me correctly. Your boy is also very talented, a very talented singer as well. Now, some people, the haters out there, the young people would call them, would disagree, but we don't pay attention to the haters too much. So every once in a while, I'll sing on the show. And, we just have a great time, man. Trust me, you're going to have a good time. All right, when we get back from the break, man, got to talk about the catastrophe that we know was the Detroit Lions from last night. And the refs, they blew it again. They blew it again. So we'll talk about that. Don't go away. Keep it locked. This is the Doug Stewart Show. In life, things happen, good and bad, and being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! We're doing some huge things here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the Doug Stewart Show, and the biggest thing being broadcasting other shows. That's right, we're executive producing other shows and playing them on my network. You may have a fantastic show or podcast, but do you have listeners? We got listeners. Over 9,000 followers to the Doug Stewart Show on the Spreaker platform, as well as over 200,000 plus listens to the network itself. So here's what you do. Go to Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com, and search The Doug Stewart Show or Stewart Media and Entertainment and get all the details. Or just hit up the producer, Tree at TheDougStewartShow.com. That's spelled Trei. Tree at TheDougStewartShow.com, and come and do business with us on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Yes!
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show, Tribute Tuesday. The great Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5. Another glaring example of how the DJ used to be the star back in the day, as opposed to the rappers. So there was 5 rappers, obviously the Furious 5. And the name of the marquee was Grandmaster Flash. Yeah, so shouts out to those cats. Hold on, let this part play right here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Broken glass everywhere. People.
All right, so today is a Tribute Tuesday. We're also talking about, obviously, the big game last night in the NFL, the Detroit Lions and the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle wins the game 13-10. Detroit falls to 0-4. The big conversation is about what happened at the end of the game. So your best player on your team, Calvin Johnson, catches a pass and is about to score, about to go in, and lo and behold, Cam Chancellor, a man that held out for the entire training camp. I think he missed like 40-something days of practice, and he makes a play, punching the ball out of the hand of Calvin Johnson. And then subsequently, KJ Wright, linebacker, comes in and knocks the ball out of bounds. I want to make two comments about this entire scenario. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Number one is that the play that Cam Chancellor made was just that, a play. You've heard before, you don't even have to have played sports to know that you've heard the statement, players make plays. Big-time players make big-time plays. That's the title of today's show. That is why. That guy, in effect, he's responsible for the win. You do understand that, right? He is totally responsible for the win. Had he not done that, I even think Calvin Johnson's momentum would have pushed him in the end zone. So that would have been a wrap, okay? But he made a play. Something one of my pet peeves is pile jumpers. And if you remember, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if you remember the Two Live Shoes for the almost 12 years that we did the show, it seemed like I had a vendetta against Keith Brooken. You remember the linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons, born and raised in the state of Georgia, played for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, actually a teammate of my brother. I actually know the guy. And then a longtime player for the Atlanta Falcons, one of the greatest players, people will tell you, in Atlanta Falcons history. But I always used to watch the games with the Falcons, and at the end of the game, Brooking would have like 13, 14 tackles. But if you go back and try to remember, he never made a play. He never made a play, and then I'd start to watch him in particular on defense. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, and I noticed that 8 out of 9 out of 10 times, he'd jump on the pile. and then give him credit for an assist, or he'd make a tackle, when the guy was falling down and he'd jump on the pile, a freaking pile jumper. He never made no plays. And at the end of the day, I remember when I was in Little League and I got to high school, and a profound statement that we continue to hear week in and week out playing the sport is, make a play. Make a play. And Kam Chancellor, that's why you heard all the hoopla about this guy, because the guy is a beast. It's kind of like a linebacker playing safety, kind of like in the Steve Atwater, conversation of things. And he made a play. Make a play. Make a play. Don't just be out there going through the motions. Don't be just jumping on piles. Kam Chancellor made a play. Ball award to him on a Tuesday. He won a game for them. So really, think about it now. I don't think he's going to get the money, a new contract. He's still got a couple more years left on his deal. I don't understand that whole thing. He just did a bad deal. But this is why he was so important. If Kam Chancellor isn't on that field, they lose the game. So in effect, he's responsible for winning a game. And the second part of my commentary on this game last night, Lions, Seahawks, is when the play happened, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, when the play happened with KJ Wright, okay, I'm not going to sit up here and say that I knew the rule, that I knew you couldn't bat the ball out of the end zone, but the second the play happened, like a alarm went off in my head. There's something not right about that play. There's something not right about what he just did. There's something wrong about what he just did. And if you go back and you look at the video and the replay, you saw kind of like the Lions players just looking around, and you kind of saw the Seahawks players just standing around looking because they didn't know what had happened, what had transpired. And come to find out, the freaking refs messed the call out. They messed the call up. They were supposed to down the ball. The ball was supposed to be on the 1st or the 1 yard line, still Detroit Lions ball, because that was illegal batting or whatever the case may be. And once again, not saying I knew the rule, but I knew something was wrong. There was something that didn't feel right. And so I was looking, waiting for them to spot the ball maybe, because something had went wrong. Once again, I don't know exactly what it was. And come to find out after the fact that they blew the call. That shouldn't happen. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. That should not happen. Clearly, the referee didn't know the call. The back judge did not know the call. There's no way possible, in his explanation after the fact, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, his explanation after the fact was there was nothing that KJ Wright did that made him 100% sure that he meant to do that. That's a damn lie. You can look at the ball, you can look at the player and know that he meant to knock the ball out of the back of the end zone. You can see him celebrating the fact that he executed knocking the ball out of the back of the end zone. The Detroit Lions, man, the Detroit Lions are snake bit. My brother picked them to actually go to the Super Bowl this year because he played for the Lions. So I think he has a little bit of love still for that town and for that city and that organization. But the Lions are snake bit. Seriously, they are, man. I don't know if they're built, the new stadium is built on an Indian burial ground or something like that. I don't know. But the Lions are snake bit, and this has happened several times to the Lions over the last couple of years. You know, the whole rules change about possession of the football also started with Calvin Johnson as well. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, man. The Lions are snake bit, and the Seattle Seahawks, my gosh, you talk about luck. You talk about what happened a couple of years ago with the Fail Mary, or was that last year? It might even have been last year with the Green Bay Packers in one of the earlier Monday Night Football games. The Seattle Seahawks rocking with leprechauns. They are, because they weren't supposed to win that game last night. Bottom line, you can say all you want, and I hate scenarios like this, man, because one win is so crucial in the NFL in particular, especially with the Lions in a position where they're about to go 0-4. So pretty much their season is a wrap. You know, we've seen some crazy things happen. They could win 12 games in a row. I guess it's possible, but it's highly unlikely. It's just bad, man. It's just bad, bad, bad. You should not lose a game like that off of a clear penalty that the referees missed. What do you do, though, after the fact? What do you do? There's nothing you can do. And saying that we missed the call is the worst. I mean, it's the absolute worst. There was no reason to make that call definitively. All they had to do was stop, think about it for a second, huddle the referees together, discuss the rule, discuss what they just saw, and get it right. And they blew it. They absolutely blew it. So I kind of feel for the Lions. But once again, one of the axioms that our head coach in high school used to have was play fast, make your breaks, and when one comes your way, score, or something to that effect. We used to say these 10 things before the start of the game, and me and some of my teammates have been trying to remember them all, and I think we've got 9. But one of them was play fast, make your breaks, and when one comes your way, score. And that's exactly what Cam Chancellor and the Seattle Seahawks did last night. What are your thoughts on the game last night? 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Got to get into the conversation about CeCe Sabathia. I'm sure you've heard about him, Yankees pitcher. We'll talk about that. We'll also get into the story about, once again, Stephen A. Smith and Kevin Durant. Matter of fact, when we get back from the break, that's what I'll do. We'll do some birthdays, and then we'll get to that story, man, and I'll give you my thoughts on it once again as delicately as I can. Stephen A. Smith is a person I know. I've said it before. I definitely disagree with him on a lot of issues, sports, non-sports, social issues. I disagree with dude on a lot of stuff, but we can agree to disagree on a lot of things. But this particular thing with Kevin Durant, man, I'll give you my thoughts about this little war of words these cats are having in the next segment on the Doug Stewart Show. All right, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. We're also going to get into your chat here in a second and start reading some of your thoughts on anything that I've talked about on the show or anything that I've kind of teased that I'm going to get to at some point on today's show. That's what we do around here on the Doug Stewart Show. We have the most fun, we read the most chat, and we keep it realer than anybody else in America. Yes, sir! Punk-ass referees. Wow. Hey, if you're new to the show, this is the Doug Stewart Show. Home of the Doug Stewart Show, but we're airing live on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Do you have a podcast? Do you have a show? But do you have listeners? That's the last part of that question, okay? We got listeners here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Do me a favor. Go on Fiverr.com and check out my gigs. And one of the gigs that we have, that's a job. One of the gigs that we have listed is broadcasting here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. I mentioned it earlier. We got close to 10,000 followers. We're going to cross over 300,000 listens for the network in the past year. Get down with us. You might have a great show, but do you have listeners? We can help you out with that. Check out my gigs on Fiverr, Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr.com. And let's do some business, all right? When we get back from the break, we'll quickly talk about some birthdays, and I'll give you my thoughts on this whole Stephen A. Smith, Kevin Durant story. All right? Don't go away. Keep it locked. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
We're back. Dogs and Poodles. It's Doug and Ryan Stewart of the Two Live Stews.
Tune in to Talk Radio 640 WGST every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. to get all your college and pro football talk.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, Hagen-Law.com. Thanks, Bruce.
We're doing some huge things here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the Doug Stewart Show, and the biggest thing being broadcasting other shows. That's right, we're executive producing other shows and playing them on my network. You may have a fantastic show or podcast, but do you have listeners? We got listeners. Over 9,000 followers to the Doug Stewart Show on the Spreaker platform, as well as over 200,000 plus listens to the network itself. So here's what you do. Go to Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com, and search the Doug Stewart Show or Stewart Media and Entertainment and get all the details. Or just hit up the producer, Tree, at TreeAtTheDougStewartShow.com. That's spelled T-R-E-I. Tree@thedougstewartshow.com and come and do business with us on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Yes!
Stewies, what's up? Tree here to talk about your home security and the security experts at Strickland Security. Everything the team at Strickland Security does is focused around increasing the security of your home, protecting your family, and your business. Most home security companies, especially the larger ones, want to sell you a cookie-cutter alarm system that maximizes their profits, but not your security. The team at Strickland Security will install a customized alarm system that meets your budget and your security needs. This Atlanta-based company is here to solve all of your security problems. Whether you need your alarm system repaired, surveillance cameras installed, or your door locks replaced, Strickland Security is the solution. Don't wait. Call the experts at Strickland Security today. For more information, go to their website at stricklandsecurity.com or give them a call now at 800-422-9075. That's 800-422-9075 and tell them Tree sent you.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. So you know I'm a Scorpio, right? This is my theme song back in 1980. I'm looking at a picture of these ninjas, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I'm looking at a picture of these ninjas. Rap and hip-hop was much different back in 1979. If you go back, and if you're under the age of, I'm going to say like 30, and you don't remember these times when the emergence of hip-hop and rap, go back and take a look at a picture of the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. These ninjas, Scorpio, and I guess a Scorpio, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I guess a Scorpio because he has a chain with a scorpion on it, so I'm pretty sure that's Scorpio. Scorpio's got on, this is no lie, on this picture I'm showing, and maybe I'll download this picture and I'll add it to the Doug Stewart Show Facebook group. This ninja's got on a weightlifting suit. Okay, you know what a weightlifting suit is? It's basically a onesie that a child would wear. He's got on a onesie, you know, with like a tank top strap, no shirt on, and he's got like a little mink shawl to the side, and a Kango, and some big Terminator X glasses. Oh, yeah, and he's got beads in his hair. Then you got another brother standing right to the left of him with a big old pimp hat on, which I love pimp hats. That's still current these days. I love those type of hats, like a Dick Tracy type hat. And then you got a bunch of leather hats, a bunch of earrings. One dude's got a perm. They all got on tight-ass jeans. And that was 1979, baby. Oh, in 79, I was 10 years old. And everybody, and I mean everybody, wanted to dress like and be like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. I'm glad styles have changed over the years. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining your boy. I really do appreciate it. This segment is brought to you by my folks at BV Mobile Apps. BV Mobile Apps specializes in doing apps for entertainers. Okay, so if you have a podcast, whatever your line of business is in the entertainment world and beyond, they don't just do apps for entertainers, but they kind of specialize in that. Holla at my folks at BV Mobile Apps. My man Gerald Oliveri is the owner of the company. They designed the Doug Stewart Show app, which is great. Never had a problem with it at all. It doesn't take as long as you think to develop, and it's not as much as you think. Okay, so have an app presence. It's 2015. Holla at my folks at BV Mobile Apps and tell them that Doug Stewart sent you. All right. So let me quickly do some birthdays here. We only got two, and then I'll talk about the Stephen A. Smith KD thing here in a second. Celebrating his 60th birthday today is Tony Dungy. Happy birthday to him. Super Bowl winning coach, former Pittsburgh Steeler player. Dungy came into the NFL as a player, as a quarterback. Did y'all know that? Then his position was changed, and they moved him to defense. I think he played safety. And obviously you know about the Hall of Fame career as a coach. Happy birthday to Tony Dungy. We've had him on the show before. Lamont Rucker turns 44 years old today. You know what that is? That's one of the 3 or 4 brothers that Tyler Perry uses in all his damn movies. Yeah, just Google them and you'll see. Oh, that's one of the ninjas that's always in the Tyler Perry movies. Because Tyler Perry got like 5 ninjas under contract. And they get all the roles and all the TV shows and all the movies. Praise his holy name. I know he's happy. He's 44 years old. Happy birthday to him. I'm not going to even go into details about which ninja it is. Trust me. It's a very recognizable one. So happy birthday to him. He's 44 years old today. So happy birthday to everybody that's celebrating a birthday today. If you're celebrating a birthday, if you have a family member that's celebrating a birthday, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com or post it in the chat, and we'll try to give you a shout-out. All right, man. So last week, Kevin Durant responded to reports that the Los Angeles Lakers are his primary objective and landing spot should he choose not to re-sign with the Oklahoma City Thunder this summer by saying that the generator of those reports, ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith, hadn't spoken to him, his family, or his friends on the matter, and that Smith was lying and making up stories. Now, Stephen A. Smith has responded and basically said, and I've seen, the clippings. I didn't see this real time on First Take or whatever, but I've seen the clippings and I've seen the entire commentary in rebuttal to what Kevin Durant had to say, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And in effect, Stephen A. Smith basically said that, no, I did not talk to anybody close to you. I didn't talk to anybody in your immediate circle, but I talked to people that told me this. Let me start off by saying this. You know I got an issue, and if you listen to the Stews over the years, you know I got an issue, a huge issue with inside sources, quote-unquote inside sources, where somebody just told you this, but you don't have to give any documented proof. You don't have to, be able to substantiate anything that you report. All you got to do is slap on it the tag inside source, or one of my sources or whatever. We actually did a bit on it a couple of years ago. So I've got a problem with that from the very, very rip, okay? All right? Now, I'm not saying Stephen A. Smith could not have got this from somebody that is friends with one of the friends of Kevin Durant. I think that once you get past maybe one person away from the actual source, I think that you have to have substantiated sources. You have to be able to document, yes, and you have to be able to go on record and say that somebody that's close to Kevin Durant, that's in his inner circle, told me this. But when you start talking about, and this is where I disagree with the whole story and the fact that he's saying this, if you have to say that a friend of a friend of a friend told me that Kevin Durant wants to play for the Lakers and that the Lakers are going to be a priority, what are you really even saying? You know, it's not really a story. I don't know why, and it's almost like, and I understand, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I understand the pressure that these guys are in. I've been there, obviously, but we were never guys that broke stories, so I guess I wasn't there, period, point blank. What we did is we talked about sports and we gave opinions. But cats like Stephen A. Smith, Mike Smith, Schefter and all of those guys, there's a premium on breaking stories. But this to me sounds like an obvious situation that might occur. Okay, so, if he doesn't want to play for the Oklahoma City Thunder again, okay, and maybe he doesn't go back to play for the Washington, D.C. With the Wizards, it's been kind of implied over the last couple of years, with all this free agency talk with him, then who else out there would it make sense for Kevin Durant to go play for? Maybe the Lakers. The Lakers are always active in free agency. Free agents historically, except for the last couple of years, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, they usually like to go play for the Lakers. To me, I could understand if Kevin Durant says, I didn't tell you that. Nobody in my personal inner circle told you this. What I call that where I'm from is a person that's lying. I can understand Kevin Durant's stance on that. And I can understand, and I actually applaud him for putting it out on the record and saying it. It's a lie. Now, could Stephen A. Smith have talked to somebody that's once, twice, 3 times removed from dude? Yeah. But it's almost like you're throwing darts on the wall. You'll say something, and now he's gotten a lot of things right in the past. But this is so vague that I don't even think he should have come out with it. That's my personal opinion. He shouldn't have even come out with it because, common sense tell you the Lakers going to be in the market for Kevin Durant. That might be an option. So if he does go to the Lakers, then what? Is he supposed to look like some type of soothsayer? And I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith? No, not to me, because it kind of makes sense. The Lakers got a lot of money. They got an aging superstar. Free agents usually like to come to L.A. and live in Los Angeles. So it kind of makes sense. So to me, it's almost like throwing darts on the wall. And the last thing, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, is this whole line from my frat brother Stephen A. Smith. You don't want to make an enemy out of me. What the F is that? Huh? What does that mean? And he did it in a dramatic fashion. He looked into the camera. He talks. You don't want to make an enemy out of me. Ninja, ain't nobody scared of you. Wait a minute. Let me back up off that. It's a person I know. I guess we probably could be considered friends. That's totally out of pocket. That's totally out of bounds. It's not a threat, but it sounds like quasi-intimidation. Stephen A. Smith's from New York. So it almost sounds like, dude, if you call me a liar again, if you read between the lines, you call me a liar again, like a dude named Guido's going to show up at your house and break both of your legs. That's what it sounds like. And that's totally unprofessional. That's totally out of pocket. I don't understand. What is that supposed to mean? Is Kevin Durant supposed to be scared? Like, is Kevin Durant supposed to not speak his mind? Is Kevin Durant supposed to say that he doesn't think you lying when he does? Just because you're Stephen A. Smith? That doesn't make sense at all. That doesn't make sense at all. Like, what do you mean? I mean, Kevin Durant doesn't have to do anything. Kevin Durant, he doesn't need Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith and the media needs the players. They want access to the players. Kevin Durant doesn't need nobody in the media. The man's got $1 gazillion. He's one of the top 2 or 3 basketball players in the world. You think Kevin Durant has to do an interview with these cats off the record? You think Kevin Durant has to outside of the scope of his job and doing post and press conferences, do you think he has to talk to anybody? No. So I don't understand that. I think that's personally that last part. You don't want to make an enemy out of me. I think that was out of bounds. I think that was totally unprofessional, and it's laughable to me. It's damn near laughable. What are your thoughts? You don't want to make an enemy out of me. I know Kevin Durant. Now, Stephen A. Smith, he played basketball in college, but he got some raggedy knees like we all do at this age. He's like 6'1". Kevin Durant's a young spry, 6'11", with a long-ass reach. What does that mean? Does that mean not that I want to fight you or I want to see you in these streets, but I can ruin your reputation? I can make my media friends write bad things and say bad things about you? If that's the case, that's totally unprofessional. Either way you look at it, it's wrong. It's wrong. Once again, great respect for Stephen A., but this is wrong. This is wrong. The whole tenor of what he said in response to Kevin Durant is just wrong. When we get back from the break, man, all I'm going to do is read chat. Don't go away. This is the realest, trillest show in America, The Doug Stewart Show. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play. So, you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
To give you the history on this Doug Stewart and Tree Taylor battle in Trivia Crack. We just started playing last week. We played 3 games. I won the first one in handily fashion. And then Tree has come along to beat me 2 times in a row. All right. Now, I blame Trivia Crack for asking me dumbass questions about romance comedies from the 1980s. That's who I blame. But she's won. And I got to give her credit. What? I knew you were going to jump.
Like, when you talk about women, Tree has come along.
It ain't got nothing to do with you being a woman.
I showed up.
Oh, wait. Did you just... What? Oh, my gosh. Did she just call me the N-word? Oh, damn. We made Doug Stewart Show history just now. As many times as I've almost uttered that term, you did it! And we don't have 7-second delay.
I'm fired.
You getting the BPA. You nominated for a Boiled Penis Award.
No.
Yes, you are. The first time in the Doug Stewart Show history, someone utters the N-word.
I'm sick of you.
You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Good thing we, on radio, traditional radio, at FCC be beating down my damn door right now. They're already looking for a reason to try to put me out of business. And you come up with this. Golly, Tree, you're better than that.
That girl is poison. You never trust a big button to smile.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
I mean, they actually talked about something back in the day. This song is all about survival.
Survival.
I mean, think about that.
Survive. It's called survival. Only the strong can survive. It's called survival.
Yes, sir.
In order to stay alive, it's called survival. Survival, survival, survival. They smile in your face and they talk behind your back. And when you get the story, it's never exact. Some say,
welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show, paying tribute to the great Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five on this Tribute Tuesday. Also talking about, what did we already get into? Lions and Seahawks from last night, the blown call by the officials. I gave you my thoughts on this Stephen A. Smith, Kevin Durant story, I guess you would call it, out there today. And we're about to get into some of this chat here in a second. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Right now, no better time than the present to talk about the Doug Stewart Show Fantasy League. Why y'all mad, studio audience? Because y'all not kicking ass like me. Y'all are not kicking ass like me. And so, once again, the Doug Stewart Show, week 4 of the fantasy season, destroys Run CNC 109.96 to 93. Thank you. Thank you to me. Also winning this week in the Doug Stewart Show League, in a narrow victory, Star-Lord beats Green Team 79-96. RC's Purple Gang beats Boosa's Blue Phi. Damn Sigma, maybe that's tight Sigma right there. The Purple Gang, that's good. And his colors are purple and gold. The Purple Gang beats Boosa's Blue Phi 88.76 to 61.88. My man Texas Ty lost a close one to Rail Squad. I mean, a real close one. That's a bitter loss. Now, I'm not exactly sure, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I'm not exactly sure if this is the game that the chat was on fire about last night, because somebody had Calvin Johnson, and if Calvin Johnson would have scored, they would have won their game. This might be that game. I'm not exactly sure. So Rail Scott beats Texas Ty. Tar Heel Blue beats Dobby the Great. Fail Pay beats Below the Belt 104 to 75. And lastly, my man Nino the Rhino beats Stringer 80 to 61. Shouts out to all my winners this week. Your boy is 4-0. All from a team picked by the computer. Whatever, I'll take it. Somebody trying to clown me last night because the computer picked my team. Now, there was a lot of controversy about that. Okay, first of all, let me get that straight. There was a big mix-up about the draft or whatever, but I picked like the last 5 players in the draft on my team in the Doug Stewart Show. I did do that. I also made a couple of moves, so I'm running the team. I mean, there's no doubt about who's in charge here with this organization, and it's me. And then you couple that with the fact that in my other league, the Doug Stewart Show or the Two Live Stews League, I'm 4-0 as well, and I picked that team. That just tells you that I'm a football genius. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So congratulations to me. Oh, boy, let me read some of this chat here, man. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. From Fell Pace says Stephen A. had to clean his act up after what he said during that Ray Rice fiasco. Was listening to Stephen A. shows yesterday on Mad Dog Radio. He dedicated a whole segment to this. Yeah, I mean, if you saw his response in its entirety, to me it looked like he was backpedaling. You know, he kind of took a lot of the emphasis off of the story and kind of focused it on the disagreement between him and KD. The root of the story is Kevin Durant, and it almost gets kind of lost in the conversation. The root of the story is he says that he has a source that tells him Kevin Durant is likely to be interested, which is very vague in itself. Is very likely to want to go play for the Lakers if he doesn't play for the Thunder or the Wizards. And one other team, I can't remember who it was. But that whole statement is very, very vague in itself. Kevin Durant simply says, I didn't tell you that. Nobody that's in my inner circle told you that. So I'm saying that's a lie. That's all Kevin Durant said. And a lot of people feel like he shouldn't have called Stephen A. a liar because Stephen A. in effect said that to a degree, but now he's backpedaling. So it's a very messed up story, in my opinion. From Ms. Mocha Bella, Stephen A. always says on First Take that he has all kinds of sources. He thinks he is the NBA insider. Now, once again, and I said it before, he's been right on a couple of things. One in particular was the LeBron going to Miami. That whole decision, he had that like an hour or two before everybody else. He actually came on record with that. I remember when he came out with that, I was like, wait a minute, is he serious? And he did it. LeBron went to Miami. Shocked me. He also had another story that he broke over the past year, and I can't remember what it is. Hopefully somebody in the chat room will remind me. But with both of those stories that he broke the news on, he was emphatic. He was emphatic of his source and that he has this right. All right? He had the exact story. This whole thing, this whole scenario, this whole conversation, this whole inside story that he broke or whatever is just vague. I mean, it's stupid, super vague. And a lot of times, man, editors won't let something like this fly. But once again, it's ESPN. It's the Puppet Factory. They're always trying to break stories. And so they let it go. They let him go with it. And if you go back and look at the statement, once again, it's very, very vague. But that's 2015, and that's the Puppet Factory for you, man. From Bussa, the man told Stephen A. Smith to keep this ish up or to clean this ish up. From the 47th Problem, Stephen A. got a nice gig on Sirius. From Grego, I'm surprised ESPN hasn't let that ninja go yet. Now, let me say this also. Once again, this is another kind of like after the thought disclaimer. Stephen A. does very good at what he does. He's very good at what he does. He is very good at what he does. I made this comparison before on my show early. I remember making this comparison early on the Doug Stewart show in one of the first couple of months. Something had happened, and I just stepped back and looked at Stephen A. and how he talks and his body language, his mannerism. He reminds me of a black modern-day Howard Cosell. Okay, the way that we looked at Howard Cosell back in the day and the fact that he had this big personality and very unique and nobody sounded like Howard Cosell, it's the same thing with Stephen A. He's like the modern-day Howard Cosell. He's a character. He's a character. Howard Cosell was a character. Stephen A. Smith has made his brand into a character. Once again, with the facial expressions, his talk, the way he talks with the vernacular and whatnot. So I know some people may not agree with me, but I'm talking about the actual persona of the person is almost like bigger than just a guy talking about sports. And I think a good comparison is to the late, great Howard Cosell. This is Howard Cosell. From Vince Wright, he says, Stephen A. trying to go all street on KD. Sit down, sir. Uncle Mike, you got to see the Stephen A. tape. It was gangster. Max Jones third. What's Stephen A. tape? What is that? Tree, do you know what that is? And Tree is the producer to the Doug Stewart Show.
I'll send it to you.
What is it?
I guess they have a link of him going off. I don't know. I'm gonna get it. I'm getting it together. I just got here. Why do you do this to me?
Okay, Tree, for new listeners to the show, and this is the Doug Stewart Show, Tree is the producer to the show, and she got here a little bit late today. She had to go and train a couple of horses for a couple of hours. And so she supplies me with a lot of information throughout the show.
Treat me right.
Let's see. From Buster Doug, I think both of them ninjas are lying. From Max Jones III, Stephen A. backtracking ass ninja. Buster says, I think both of them are lying. What do you think Kevin Durant's lying about? You think somebody in his inner circle did tell Stephen A. this? I'm interested. From Grego, They're all saying that Tannehill is wilding out too. He may get punched next, talking about Miami. We'll mention that story as well. Philbin's out in Miami. We'll talk about that a little bit more. All right, when we get back from the break, more of your chat. Damn it, it's hour number 2, the fastest show in sports. Hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show. We'll kind of reset, and I'll get back into your chat. We'll talk about some other stories going on in the world of sports and entertainment. Don't go away. The fantasy brother himself, the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go. Don't go away. Keep it locked right there. Stay, stop. Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. We're back. The 2 Live Stews are back on air every Saturday morning on WGST at 11 a.m.
It's Sports Talk with Hot Sauce. Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, Hagen-Law.com, for making it happen. Thanks, Bruce. You're the man, the people's lawyer.
Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975 and work it out.
Hour number 2, baby. Yes, sir. Yes. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Man, this Sunday is going to be crazy. Redskins come to town. I got a bunch of a frat coming from Charleston, bringing a bus from the Chuck. The 2 Live Stews tailgate is going to be bananas, man. Also, before that even, on Saturday morning, make sure you check out the latest episode of the 2 Live Stews on 640 WGST, 11 a.m. Me, my brother, Tree, Naughty Head, my cousin Gus. I mean, it's a whole bunch of ninjas up there. I'm like, man, it's a bunch of ninjas up here. And one of the executives walked through at 640 WGST. We bring a whole posse. And we do the show on 640 WGST right here in Atlanta, as well as iHeartRadio. I just talked about fantasy football. Man. Are you a fantasy football diehard? Then you need to listen to Cook and the Bad Guy Fantasy Football Expert Show live Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's tonight, okay? If you're a fantasy football diehard, you need to check out the folks from Cook and the Bad Guy Fantasy Football Expert Show live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The guys give you what you need to win. Weekly DFS value plays, lineup questions, and more. Dial in. Grab a pencil, dial in to 914-205-5560 Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can't join live. Replay available at kpjones with a Z, kpjones.com. That's kpjones.com. And check out the replay for my folks at the Bad Guy Fantasy Football Experts. Cooking the Bad Guy Fantasy Football Experts show. Yes, sir. So that's tonight. You can call in. Shouts out to my man K3000. I mentioned yesterday he wrote a manifesto. If you're new to the Doug Stewart Show, we got a guy that just writes novels, manifestos. We call him the Manifesto King. And he wrote a long manifesto yesterday. I'm not going to be able to get to it today because it's dated. And, frankly, we got other stuff we can talk about. But if you want to read K3000's latest manifesto, go to Spreaker.com and go in the chat room, and Tree just posted it. So check it out there. Sorry I didn't get to read it live yesterday. I mean, we just didn't have enough hours in the day, bruh. Okay? So if you want to check out his latest manifesto, check him out on in the Spreaker chat. Tree just posted it. Oh, yeah, back to, and I should have mentioned this before I even got to that, but the fantasy thing, man, shouts out to my folks at that has the Cook and the Bad Guy Fantasy Football Expert Show live tonight. I just talked about in the last segment the Doug Stewart Show Fantasy League and how I'm kicking much ass. You know that I'm affiliated with DraftKings, right? You do know that. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do a Doug Stewart Show weekly league in football. We might even try to do a daily league in basketball for real money. But here's what I need you to do. You need to create an account and use the promo code STU. Don't use an account that you have from some other place, okay? Because we're going to send invites out to be a part of the weekly league, and we'll talk about that on Monday, and we'll play for a couple of dollars and have some fun with it, make it interesting or whatever. You need to create a separate account on DraftKings and use the promo code STEW, S-T-E-W. And I'll give you more details about it as we go throughout the week, and we'll set up a weekly fantasy matchup between, I don't know, if we can get 5 people, we'll do that. If we can get 100 people that listen to this show and want to put up a couple dollars and play in a weekly fantasy matchup, then we can. But I'm going to send out invites, and you're not getting in the league, in the weekly league, unless you use the promo code STEW. Create an account and use promo code STEW. And I can tell, I get confirmation of people that have signed up under my login. So you have to use STEW, okay? You got to use STEW, all right? From the 47th problem, Philbin was asking to get fired. He had 24 wins, 28 losses, no playoff appearances, a new contract extension, and rumor has it players didn't respect him. Take that last comment with a grain of salt. Yeah, clearly things were out of control down there in Miami. You can go back to the Jonathan Martin, Richie Incognito story. This whole stuff going on with Donkey Kong Sue and Ndamukong Suh. It just seems like that he's a coordinator at best. It just seems like he's a coordinator, not a head coach. Not everybody's a head coach. Not everybody's a head coach. And so the Dolphins cut ties, man, and Philbin is out as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. A 1-3 start once again. Taking over for him is going to be an assistant coach, what's his name, Dan Campbell. He's going to serve as interim head coach for the Miami Dolphins. He says the season's still early. The Dolphins just don't look like a good team. Tannehill is a mess. They gave him a ton of money. They're just in a bad situation. If you look back at the Dolphins, man, ever since Don Shula left, let's see, Dave Wannstedt coached 4 years. He had 4 winning seasons. I mean, that tells you a lot if Dave Wanstead is the winningest coach you've had in the last 25 years. Jimmy Johnson, he coached for 4 years. He had 3 winning seasons. Tony Soprano coached for 3 years, had 1 winning season. And Joe Philbin coached 3 years and had no winning seasons at all. Don Shula, Dan Marino. The Dolphins have just been abysmal, man. I mean, abysmal for a long, long time. They ain't been good since like 72. Now, I'm being facetious, but Dan Marino had a couple of good years. They actually made it to a Super Bowl, and after that, they haven't done nothing, man. And it might be a problem with ownership. It might be a problem in that clubhouse. There's something going on more than just football because defensively, they got some great players on that team, man. They got one of the best on paper front lines in football, but it's just not working out right now for the Miami Dolphins. Let me read more of this chat, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. From Andre Alam, he says, I nominate K3000 as the TDSS chief writer and editor. I like that. Now, wait a minute. There's no pay. You do understand that, right? Okay. Yeah, there's no pay. But I'm down with it. I'm down with it. But before you stamp my name on anything, we gotta clear it first. Fail pay. They either hate or love Scorpios. Either way, we don't give a damn. Laugh out loud. Yes, sir. There's a lot of Scorpios have a strong personality, from what I understand. I'm not one of those horoscope guys, but Scorpios are very, very definitive in their personality. Very, very positive. Yes, Tree? What Tree? You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show.
Wait, from what you understand.
Yeah, I don't know anything about horoscope.
Aren't you a Scorpio?
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio, but what I'm saying is people always come up to me and I've had this comment over my entire life. If somebody says, in particular a lady, it says, what's your sign? And I say Scorpio, and they'll look at me like side-eye, like, ooh, you a Scorpio? And then they even feel very strong about us or in a positive way, or they hate us in another way. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. What's the word on Scorpios? You tell me.
Freaks.
Yes, that's true, too.
Love themselves.
I love me some me. That's right. Okay, keep on.
Think you always right about everything.
I don't necessarily
in your mind, and it comes out through your personality often.
Okay, is another way to say it about Scorpios is we're very confident. Instead of saying like tomato and tomato is another way of saying that we always think we're right till we're very confident. Is that a better way to say it, Tree?
We could go with that, Douglas. Yeah, but I could school you all day. But you definitely have the traits.
Yeah, I've always heard that. First thing they say, ooh, y'all freaks. And I say, yes, I am. Yes, sir. Turn around.
Wait.
Wait a minute.
Turn around.
I didn't mean that.
Enough.
I didn't mean that. Thorny Switch says Scorpio stay. Oh, Thorny, you a Scorpio too? Ooh. Oh, Thorny. Oh, Thorny. Let's see. Eugene Jackson. Kevin Durant, buddy, is from L.A. Russell Westbrook, of course, is going to the L.A. next summer. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to even. The 47 problem, the same type of call is made on kickoffs when the ball reaches the end zone and a defensive player knocks the ball out of the end zone. The offense gets the ball back at the designated line of scrimmage. Yeah, I'm telling you, I couldn't explain it. But I knew something was wrong when that guy, when what's his name, KJ Wright, purposely knocked the ball out of the end zone. And if you looked at the video, he kind of looked like, oh, damn, I shouldn't have done that. It was almost like one of those Leon Lett plays, where you knew something was wrong. What you did was terribly, terribly wrong. And the second that happened last night, I was like, they got to do something. Something is wrong about that. But the referees never came together, man, and talked about it. So it was just a bad play. I feel so bad for the Seattle or for the Detroit Lions. Seattle Seahawks, though, they made a play. Simple as that. From Emmett Bean, Katie is about that life. Yeah. I mean, And there's a lot of innuendo about they're going to see each other in them streets, KD and Stephen A. Smith. That's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. So what I gather from Stephen A.'s comments, once again, is that he's going to try to ruin him in the media. That's unprofessional. That's the utmost of unprofessional. Are you going to use your relationships in the industry, in the media industry, to badmouth this guy going forward and make him look bad in front of the public? Nah, that's crossing the line. That's definitely crossing the line. All right, when we get back from the break, man, more of your chat. We'll talk a little bit about Rex Ryan, man. Create your account in DraftKings. Just create a side account in DraftKings and use the promo code STEW. That's STEW. And get down with this weekly fantasy action. We're going to put up a couple dollars and see who can pick players on a weekly basis, all right? Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play. So, you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STEW to play for free. That's STEW for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STEW, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STEW.
The Doug Stewart Show presents another episode of Stories with Uncle Dougie, straight out of Monk's Corner edition.
So my best friend, man, Bubba, he gets on the bus, and he sits down, and he's, like, distraught. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? And we're on the bus on the way to school. We're, like, in 9th, 10th grade, and we're on the bus on the way to school, and he says, my old man, he shot a man last night. I was like, wait a minute, what did you say? And I had heard these stories before, and rest in peace, his daddy's name was Coconut. Coconut was a little guy, probably 5'5", about, 140 pounds. So he's a little dude. And little dudes, man, they don't got the tolerance to wrestle with you or fight or put up their hands or something like that, especially old cats like this where I'm from. He's like, my old man stumbled in 4 o'clock in the morning, and I met him in the hallway because he was extra intoxicated. And he looked at me and said, Bubba, I had to shoot a man tonight. And come to find out more of the story, now keep in mind, this was in 1985 or something like this. Coconut was probably in his late 50s, early 60s. And once again, I told you, the story on the street was that he had done this many times before. Come to find out, Coconut had shot 4, maybe 5 people throughout his life in our little town in Monk's Corner, South Carolina. This is not a lie. And I know this seems like a story from the Andy Griffith Show, from Ernest T. Bass. This is not a lie. In my hometown, you can literally shoot people or shoot at people, connect on their lower extremities 4, 5, 6 times and not go to jail forever.
The Doug Stewart Show.
Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. They were also fascinated by cocaine back in the day. They did a whole song about white lines and cocaino. Get higher, baby.
Bass.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Tribute Tuesday to great Grandmaster Flash in the Furious 5, White Lines. Yeah, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, I'm still observing this picture of the great Grandmaster Flash in the Furious 5. Not only do this one ninja got on a weightlifting outfit, but every single one of these dudes has on weightlifting gloves. Now, you know the great Melly Mel over the last couple of years is very, very clear that he's on some type of performance-enhancing drug. Because Melly Mel got to be 60-something years old. But Melly Mel looked like he just came out of the gym every time you see him. The man don't have a shirt in his closet. Everywhere he go, he's bare-chested. And he's ripped. But all of these guys in this picture I'm looking at got on weightlifting belts. Or weightlifting gloves, I'm sorry. One of them got on a weightlifting belt, too. But it was a different day and time, man. The rappers back then were more flamboyant. Like we've been in a huge conversation, and I know the show is going to take a turn when I bring this up. But if you follow me on Spreaker, or not on Spreaker, on Facebook and on Twitter and all of that stuff, and you're one of my followers or friends or whatever, or maybe did we even post it in the Doug Stewart Show Facebook group? I don't think we did. But somebody posted this meme, and it was, in effect, from a younger person, like somebody you would think probably is like 19, 20 years old, and they posted a picture. One side of the picture of the meme was Prince, and the other side was this dude, young, what's his name? Young, Tree, you don't know the rapper's name? Not Young, what's his name? Young, I can't remember his name. Damn, and I'm killing the story because I can't tell you the guy's name. Birdman and Young
Jock.
No, not Young Jock. Not Young Jock.
I know you don't believe it, but I'm actually over here working. I'm going to look it up. One moment.
But anyway, it's that young boy. Damn it. And let me see. Somebody in the chat will tell me, and I'm sorry. I apologize. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Somebody will post it in the chat room. Young Thug. Young Thug. That's CTE. That's CTE for you. A lot of hits to the head. So somebody posted on this meme a picture of one side, it was Prince, and the other side, it was Young Thug. In the headline said, "Y'all had Prince, we got Young Thug." And I thought about that for a second, and they're talking about how they dressed and this innuendo about them being gay. And so there's a big discussion, and I disagree with that whole sentiment. Like Prince was not that there's anything wrong with being gay or anything like that. That's how you want to do, that's you. But Prince wasn't gay. I don't think Prince was gay. Prince just liked to dress flamboyantly. And it was a part of the times.
Why was it okay with y'all? I mean, I'm okay with it, but it does seem like y'all are throwing shade.
Oh, with what? With Prince dressing like a woman?
Yes. I could not believe you actually started a conversation.
It was always strange. It was always strange that Prince dressed like a woman. And he didn't wear women's clothes. He never wore a dress. You see what I'm saying? He never wore a dress that I can remember. He just wore a lot of frilly stuff.
Yeah.
And
the soft shirt.
Well, I mean,
your mama didn't have one of those.
Like they were talking about in Everybody Hates Chris. He was an androgyny. Androgyny was big in Minnesota, I guess. Vince can attest to this. And so Prince always had the finest ladies in his camp. Prince was always knocking them down like bowling pins. He just dressed kind of flamboyantly. And if you look at this picture, and damn it, I'm going to post this picture. If you look at this picture of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, that was that era. The entertainers dressed flamboyantly. You know, they look back at it now and they probably laugh. You remember this whole controversy about Dr. Dre when he was with the World Class Wrecking Crew? They all had jerry curls and they wore a bunch of stuff with sequins on it and tight-ish. You know, that was the times. Prince and the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 and Dr. Dre and those cats is much different than Young Thug. And that whole mantra. It's much different. It's much difference. It's a big difference, okay? Grandmaster Flash, Prince, all of them dudes, Ready for the World, all of them cats, it was just a different era. That's how they did. Entertainers were very flamboyant. Not today. And you know who changed that? And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. You know who changed that? Run DMC changed that. Before Run DMC just came with the leather suits and the Adidas, all entertainers dressed like these cats. All entertainers were flamboyant for the most part, except for your love song artists. You know, like Luther Vandross and them cats, they wore little suits or whatever. But even then, the suits were tight. They were like pistol legs. Okay? So it was different. So how dare you? How dare that person come up with a meme comparing the great Prince? Oh, yeah, and Prince had talent. That's another thing. Prince had talent. You could understand the words coming out of his mouth. You don't understand a damn thing coming out of Young Thug's mouth. So stop it. Just stop it. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Yeah, just stop it. How dare you even put Prince and Young Thug in the same sentence? You know, I wish the young man, Young Thug, luck, but he ain't no damn Prince. Just stop that. The greatest concert I've ever been to in my life, and I've been to a bunch of great concerts, the greatest concert I've ever been to in my life, when Prince came to Phillips Arena about 8-9 years ago, that ninja put on a show. That ninja put on a show. All 4'3" of them. How dare you put Young Thug and Prince in the same sentence? They both, Prince dressed flamboyantly. Young Thug dresses a lot of times. The man said half his closet or 90% of his wardrobe is women's clothes. Huh? Prince never wore no dress. He never wore high heels. Wait a minute, I take that back. He's still wearing high heels. But they're not like stilettos. Prince wore cowboy boots, you know, to help with his stature. Okay? No, don't do that anymore. That's very, very disrespectful. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let me read. I'm reading this chat now. Y'all crazy. From Bussa. He says, Bill Cosby told Stephen A. Smith to chill out, laugh out loud. Okay, that's funny. Yeah. That's another real issue I have with Stephen A. Smith, a lot of the grandstanding that he does, but we're not going to go there. From the 47th problem, then sold Wolf tickets. You don't want to make an enemy out of me. What was that about? Talked about that earlier. Clay Davis, the Sheet advisor. That was unprofessional of Stephen A. to act that way on TV and threatening to ruin Katie through the media is all kinds of wrong. Yeah, it's either one or two ways that's supposed to be interpreted. One is I'm going to fight you when I see you, or the other is I am going to humiliate you. I'm going to ruin you in the media. And both of them are wrong. The second one, I would think, is much more wrong than the first. Because the first, and them actually having a fight, is not going to happen. So you can really cross that out of the conversation. What's being implied is the second, that he's going to ruin him. He's going to get his friends and his connections in the media to ruin this guy's reputation. From Grego, can Stephen A. Smith be a Devo? Like, does he qualify for breaking man laws? The 47th problem, yes, Stephen A. broke man law on public TV. Wild stuff. Donaldson says, yes, Steve broke man laws. There's Mo Cabela. Stephen A. has to be called out. He thinks he knows all the info on the NBA and its players. Fail pay. Stephen A. is starting to make commercials now, so probably thinks he's made it and has turned untouchable. Interesting. Stringer, I think most NBA stars are about to freeze out Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, the whole thing implied by Stephen A. Smith that he's going to ruin KD, his reputation. I don't know to who. I would think that it's much easier for Kevin Durant to ruin Stephen A. Smith with the players. I mean, it's very simple. As a matter of fact, I don't think he even needs to make a phone call. All he has to do is imply what he has implied, that Stephen A. is lying, tell one or two of his teammates to pass the word not to talk to that ninja no more, and that'll be a wrap. It is very simple. Yeah. So I think that he is totally out of place in this whole thing. Totally out of place. All right, we're up against the break. When we get back from the break, more of your chat. What else we got to talk about? I want to talk a little bit about the latest AP poll in some of these teams in college football. We'll get into that when we get back as well. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Let me tell you about Travel by Stats. Travel by Stats delivers premium travel packages and provide excellence by focusing on assuring that their tour itinerary is clear. For destinations they've never taken, they even take the trip in advance of the actual one you're about to take. This ensures everybody has a great experience. They've been around since 1988 and have been operating here in Atlanta since 2000, starting from the ground up, but they now boast of a team operating in 5 states. Travel by Stats not only specializes in Caribbean destinations, they also provide a variety of reasonable, cost-efficient events by land, air, or sea. One of their big things is sports travel for football fanatics who live in Metro Atlanta. That's the fun way to go anyway. Here's some of their upcoming list of events. Giants at Cowboys, Falcons at Giants, Falcons at Cowboys, Cowboys at Saints, Patriots at Cowboys, and many, many more. Contact them at 855-266-6675, extension 700, for the owner, Maritza Wilmer. Again, that's 855-266-6675, extension 700. If you mention my name, Doug Stewart, you'll receive an extra 10% off your package. Travel by Stats. Where they don't sell travel, they sell fun. We're back. The 2 Live Stews are back on air every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on WGST. It's sports talk with hot sauce. Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, at Hagen-Law.com for making it happen.
640 WGST in Atlanta. Search 640 WGST on iHeartRadio worldwide.
Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
Beep, beep, you and the crew. Hold it. Yeah, that's us. We band, we back. And we want y'all to know we getting into a birthday thing. Now I want everybody to put your hand up in there if you got a birthday. Now,
this one rap was fun.
Everybody say happy birthday,
Woo! They did a lot of that back in the day, too. Yeah! They did a lot of that type of stuff. Sound effects and whatnot. This is a Tribute Tuesday, paying homage to one of the pioneers, man, the great Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Because any time is a happy time for a birthday party ride.
Everybody! Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. A lot of conversation about the Stephen A. Smith stuff, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This segment is brought to you by my good friends from Strickland Security. That's right. Atlanta's a great place. I always say that. It's a fantastic place. I love it to death. This is my adopted hometown, ATL, shawty. But there's a lot of wilding out going on in them streets in some places of town. These young people, man, they got no respect, no self-respect, and no respect for other people's stuff. Some of these people, some of these kids. So you got to protect your home, man. You got to do it. And you should do that with my folks from Strickland Security. They have over 55 years of combined experience in the business. They can give you a small little alarm system starting at just $15 per month, all the way up to a big boy. Or they can even fix the alarm system you have. They're not trying to hit you over the head. They just want to take care of you, the customer, concerned about you, the customer, you, your house, and your area that you live in, your subdivision. So holla at my folks at Strickland Security, okay? StricklandSecurity.com. That's StricklandSecurity.com. And tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Make sure and tell them that. Can't beat it with a stick. I wanted to quickly look at the AP Top 25. And I'm going to get back more into the chat here in a second. And I'm sure we got a lot of great chat from some of the stuff we talked about today. Ninjas dressing flamboyantly. Stephen A. Smith has been the big topic today. Everybody's talking about that, chiming in on that. But I want to look at the top 25, man. Number one was Ohio State, which really, had it not been for the fact that they had won the national championship last year, they probably already would have dropped down. TCU and Boynton are just destroying teams right now. They come in at number 2. Baylor at number 3. So you know Baylor and TCU are going to play each other later in this year, so one of them is going to get knocked down. Depends on how close the game is. That's going to factor into it as well. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Michigan State still at number 4. Keep your eye on Michigan State and Michigan, man. Keep your eye on Michigan State and Michigan. Jim Harbaugh has the Michigan Wolverines playing fantastic football after that first loss that they had in the season to, I believe it was Utah. But Michigan right now is number 18 at 4-1 and playing Jim Harbaugh, man, I've said it before, is one of the best coaches at reviving a program and a team that I've ever seen in my life, man. And before you know it, he's going to get in better players. He's going to recruit better. And Michigan is going to be back on top. So congratulations to him. Shouts out to the Michigan Wolverines. Clemson is number 6, undefeated. They still got a couple of big games to play. LSU is at number 7. Alabama, with the decisive win over Georgia this past weekend, they jump all the way up to number 8. They're 4-1. Alabama is ahead of a bunch of teams that are still undefeated, like Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Florida, Florida State, Northwestern, Ole Miss, or not Ole Miss, take Ole Miss out of that, but Northwestern. All of these teams are still undefeated. There's even a couple of teams. Cal is 5-0, ranked 23rd. And Toledo, which is 4-0, is ranked 24th. Also, you have Oklahoma State and Iowa, both at 5-0. They're 21, 22, 23, and 24. So the schedule, where they were at the top of the season, the preseason rankings is kind of hurting some of those teams at the bottom. They don't have the legacy and the panache and the brand as an Alabama. And Alabama's in the SEC, and they destroyed Georgia on their home field. So I kind of get it, but there's a huge gap between Alabama at 4-1 and a bunch of other teams that are 5-0, 4-0. It's just really kind of a head scratcher. Very interesting, man. I love me some college football. Love me some college football, which we'll talk about Saturday morning. We'll do kind of like a review and a preview of the weekend's games on the 2 Live Studios on 640 WGST. As well as iHeartRadio. Right now, you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, though. From Uncle Mike in the chat, he says Stephen A. think he Ron O'Neal or something like that. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Redland Kirk, I can imagine, and I haven't seen, obviously I don't watch First Take Live because it comes on the exact time that my show comes on. I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen A. issues some type of apology today. You know, he don't have a problem apologizing to everybody in the world whenever ESPN tells him to do so. I am very confident that they're going to pull that man in the office and say, listen, dude, that's just the wrong message to send in what you did yesterday. You quasi coming off threatening a player. We rely upon the players. The player is our product. You know, you got to make some type of apology to KG or to KD. And I won't be surprised at all if he does that today on the First Take episode. From Redland Kirk, he says, Stephen A. Smith must think he's Tony Montana, Scarface, laugh out loud. Buster, these threats don't mean ish. KD really has more pull and can make Stephen A. Smith lose a lot of money. I mentioned that in the last segment. If you're talking about anybody being a threat to the other, I would think Kevin Durant is more of a threat to Stephen A. Smith because basketball players, sports in general, the different leagues, they're kind of like a fraternity. And it's very easy for Kevin Durant to tell his basketball fraternity brothers to not F with dude no more. Don't do any requests, not just for him, but for ESPN. So that's why I really believe that today there's going to be some type of mea culpa and some type of apology issued to Kevin Durant in particular, and to the NBA, and to ESPN. From Dollars and Cents, I agree, Doug. Props for calling out your frat brother. And I don't want to call it calling out my frat brother, Stephen A. Smith. I just had to talk about it, because if I didn't talk about it, it'd almost be like the elephant in the room. And I always call myself the Keep It Real show. And for me to ignore it, I really didn't want to get into it, to be honest with you. But for me to ignore it would be disingenuous of what I do on this show and what this show is. So I had to address it. And if you take it as me calling out my frat brother, that's fine. That wasn't the intent. The intent was just to talk about a story, give commentary on a story that everybody in America is talking about in the world of sports. From Derek, Stephen A. needs to sit down with his tall-ass forehead. Now, that's personal. Just because the man's forehead is taller than the average person's, there's no need for you to bring mention to it. Max Jones, Stephen A. is a certified clown. That's not necessary. From Leonard, let's not call each other names. Leon, he says, it reminded me of how baseball umpires or basketball officials lose sight of what they are there for. Yeah, don't start reading your own press clippings, man. You're not bigger than the game. I get the analogy you're making. From Clay Davis, the Sheed advisor, what Stephen A. just told me was that reporters are biased toward players if they don't kiss the reporter's ass. I could see why you think that, sir. And one of the mantras of the Two Live Stews, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, has always been is we're media, but we're not media. You're getting a perspective that's different than the norm, okay, with the Stews. We're more so a lot of times on the player side, and this falls in that category. And, yeah, you could kind of derive that statement, and I've been talking about it all day, as, we're biased towards players, talking about the media. Vince Wright, ESPN got to stop that fool. Grego Syndrome A. Smith, he's calling him Syndrome A. Smith, was basically saying, don't you turn me into a super snitch. Wow. That's not good. From Bussa, remember KD is from Chalker City, D.C., baby. Eugene Jackson, what up in Miami? Practice squad players were told to take it easy on Tannehill so he could regain his confidence. Wow, I think that's bad if that's actually the case. That's rumor, though. Sandman, now didn't Stephen A. write a story about this, or did he say that a source close to him told him this? That's two different things. From the Brother Beloved, difference in Cosell and Stephen A. is Cosell had respect. Cosell had respect, and I think Stephen A. has respect. Me and Tree were talking about this during the break, and Tree was saying how, and I think it's okay for me to talk about your opinions, Tree, is it? Can I get a thumbs up? Is it okay for me to mention this?
Yeah, I don't give a...
Right, Tree don't care. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Tree says the difference between, in her mind, she didn't like the comparison I made between Stephen A. and Cosell is people actually like Howard Cosell. No, check that. A lot of people didn't like Howard Cosell. Howard Cosell was very, very controversial in a lot of his reporting back in the day. You can just Google him. But so in that regard, to me, they're very similar or the same. A lot of people don't like Howard Cosell, didn't like Howard Cosell. A lot of people don't like Stephen A. Smith. They're very similar. I mean, obviously they're different people. One's a white guy or was a white guy, and one's a black guy. But in a 2015 kind of way, they're very comparable to me. From Al Thompson, Howard Cosell, that's a decent analogy. I'd take Stephen A. over Whitlock any day. Oh, Jason Whitlock, not even in conversation. Definitely not a fan of that dude. Definitely got stories about that dude.
Stephen A. Smith is the sports talk version of Don Lemon for me. He's just, I don't like him.
Well,
and I can talk about.
I'm not going to get into his social commentary.
Okay.
And what I feel like a lot of time is, what's the best way I can put this, is pining for his bosses. I'm not going to get into that. I disagree with him on a lot of his social commentary that he brings to that show and that I've heard him say over the past couple of years in being back at ESPN and on First Take in general. I mean, we would have to do an entire another show on my disagreement on the way that he approaches a lot of social issues. Let's just leave it at that. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Once again, we frat brothers. I know dude. We've actually went out and had some drinks together. It is what it is. We don't always have to agree. We can agree to disagree. And the most professional way I can say this, just know that I disagree with a lot of what dude has said over the last couple of years. Dealing with what's going on in these streets. That's just me. Yeah. We wear the same letters. Yeah, I'm not going to even get into that. But we wear the same letters, and we just disagree on a lot of things, a lot of different topics. All right, when we get back from the break, man, we're going to wrap today's show up. Tribute Tuesday, the great Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. We're back. The Two Live Stews are back on air every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on WGST. It's sports talk with hot sauce. Special thanks to our sponsor, Bruce Hagen, at Hagen-Law.com for making it happen.
640 WGST in Atlanta. Search 640 WGST on iHeartRadio worldwide.
Yes! In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes!
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
I only want to see you only in the purple rain. Ow! Yeah! Woo!
The soulful sounds of Doug Stewart is not for everyone. Side effects may include delusion.
Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what do you want to talk about?
Man, this is Chico the Alpha. What's up, man?
Chico the Alpha, how you doing, brother?
All I want to say is that I want to give my appreciation for that rendition.
From Run CNC. He says, what the hell is this? Who got 600 apples so that we can hear Doug sing another song? One song isn't enough. What the hell is this? That's from Run CNC. Thank you, Run CNC. People commenting on my singing a little bit. From Chef Ivan the Great. He says, we don't want to read that one. He's talking about a song called Acid Rain. I sung Purple Rain, not Acid Rain, so I don't know what you're talking about, sir. From Gary Joyner. He says, I felt the pain in that song, Doug. Yes, you did. You felt the pain and the sorrow and the burden. Just like Prince. I could have been a stand-in for Prince and Purple Rain in the movie.
Other side effects include nausea, dry mouth, complete hearing impairment for a 24-hour period.
The Purple Rain. Honey, I know times are changing. Woo!
And scientific studies have shown these sounds to be an effective contraceptive. The Doug Stewart Show. Sports talk. Straight, no chaser.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Beat Street Breakdown.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Beat Street, King of the Street. Be rocking that beat from across the street. Ha ha. Beat Street is a lesson too. Can't let the streets beat you.
Beat Street, the king of the beat. You see him rocking that beat from across the street. And Beat Street is a lesson too, because you can't let the streets beat you.
Yes, sir. The great Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 here on the Doug Stewart Show today. Yeah! Shouts out to the Grandmaster Flash. The Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 on Tribute Tuesday here on the Doug Stewart Show, man. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. Shouts out to all of the Stewies. If you're new to the show, this is how we do it. This is how we do it Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Check me out once again on Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr.com. Close to 200 or close to 300,000 listens. We'll probably get that in the next week or so. And very close to 10,000 followers, man. So we can get the word out. Trying to promote a company, a product, a brand, having an event, national event is the probable way you need to look at us for. We can help you out here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. We're doing voiceovers, advertising once again, and the big thing is we're playing other shows on the network. Tomorrow, speaking of which, the Kicking It with Kesey show, as well as the Poe Politicking show right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Yes, sir. Let me read more of this chat. Is there anything else I didn't get checked off my list here that I wanted to talk to y'all about today? Lions, Seahawks, DraftKings. Oh, I'm sure y'all heard the story about DraftKings. I spoke a little bit earlier about creating an account on DraftKings and using the promo code STU. We're going to have a weekly fantasy football challenge on the show with just listeners from the show. So you got to create a new account if you already have one and use the promo code STU. You've heard the story about a DraftKings contest where it was won by an employee from DraftKings. Actually, not on DraftKings, on FanDuel, which is a competitor. And I actually have an account on both of them. So long story short, this guy that works for DraftKings has a FanDuel account, and they're saying that he used inside information, analytics information from DraftKings in picking his team from the event or for the event on FanDuel. And the man won $350,000. Now, I've made the comparison. I'm full of comparisons today. Stephen A. Smith, Howard Cosell. I've made the comparison between these daily fantasy draft sites in the stock market. And that's in effect what it is. This is insider trading, okay? And so what they've done over the last couple of days since the story has come out is they made these rules from employees from both companies that you can't wager with the other company. You understand what I'm saying? And so this is a big deal, man. This fantasy draft thing, this daily fantasy draft thing is big money. You see all the advertisements that they do. They're paying millions and millions of dollars a week to promote this stuff. And so I think this is a one-time thing. It's probably happened in the past, and so I guess you can feel upset about that. But they're going to really clamp down on this. Legislation about this has really been a big topic as far as lawmakers, because this is a different classification than gambling, because you actually the way their pitching is, you have to have skill to pick these players. It's not more so based on luck. You know, in real gambling, there's a spread, there's a line, and so all of that skewed, and it really becomes, at the end of the day, luck. This, if you know about football and you bet, you're going to do better than a player that doesn't know about football and bets or sports and bets. So I get it. That's why it's okay. That's why it's not classified as gambling per se. But you got to be careful with stuff like this. If stuff like this keeps happening, then it's going to go away real fast. And I hope that's not the case, because I actually love the fantasy sports and daily fantasy wagering. It's a very good thing. But this is a crazy story. We're going to keep our eye on that. From Rel Scott, he says, controversy brings ratings. They ain't letting Stephen A. go nowhere unless he pulls a Sandusky. Probably the case. Cornelius, he says, man, everyone knows the worst things you can do to a man is slap him in the face, spit in his face, and call a man a liar. It's been that way since the beginning of time. I agree. Those are probably the top 3 things that'll get you in a fight with another dude. I agree. From Bussa, I'm going to keep it real. We need brothers like Stephen A. Smith out there with a big platform, but he needs thinks sometimes before he goes off. Keep it real but smart. Oh, definitely. There is a point where keeping it real goes wrong. That's definitely. I definitely agree with Dave Chappelle on that whole sentiment. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Max Jones III, to call somebody a liar is a serious accusation to put on somebody, and just don't freelance and put that on somebody. KD is standing on it. Stephen A. Smith needs a better source. You call somebody. Yeah, it's very vague. The whole thing is very vague. And KD summed it up by saying, this report that you have from your sources, Stephen A. Smith, based on what I know in the situation, the fact that I didn't talk to you and tell you this, and anybody in my inner circle didn't tell you this, that leads me to believe, and what we call those people where I'm from, in D.C., Chocolate City, we call those people liars. That's what he's basing his statement, his rebuttal to Stephen A. Smith is. Stephen A. Smith, in this situation, you almost need to, in my opinion, you need to reveal your source. And I know that's against the rules of the whole source reporter thing, but yeah, you really need to come with some bona fide information if this in fact is true. That somebody reliable that's in the know has heard from Kevin Durant that he's real serious. And once again, it's hard to quantify even that. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. It's hard to quantify whether he might go to the Lakers or not. He might go to the Milwaukee Bucks. He might go to the Miami Heat. So the whole statement itself is just vague. It's almost not a story. It's not worth a story, but they made it into a story because they set it up as this big inside news that Stephen A. had. What? You are so vague. It's so vague that it shouldn't even have been something that they should have even talked about. It's down the road, a couple of years down the road. Was it 2017, I believe? And he could go and play for anybody. Chances are that the Lakers' chances are a little bit better than the Milwaukee Bucks. Chances are they're a little bit better than the Toronto Raptors. Of course. That's, in effect, all Stephen A. said. I guess KD just didn't like it. And so he responded. Simple as that. He responded. Damn, we got a lot of great chat I didn't get to.
Can you just be upfront about what it's going to take for a third hour? Because you have not, because you ask not.
What it's going to take for us to get a third hour is we're going to need a title sponsor to the show. We need to get a advertising budget in here coming in weekly of about $25,000. Or maybe not so much. A little bit less than that. We got to get more advertisers, man. It takes a lot. You might think it's easy to do this show, but it's not. There's a lot of moving parts to it, man. There's a lot of people that got to get paid at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, you know. And so it is what it is. The show is great. It's going fantastic. Thank you. Shouts out to all of the Stewies. But it's real in the field, baby. It is real in these streets. So we're working on it, man. And we're working on some other shows as well, growing the network. We are blessed and highly favored. I know Tree doesn't like when I say that. As she dropped the head down into her hands. But we are, man. I see it. I got a vision. And it's going to be big. It's going to be real, real big. We're at the forefront of a lot of this technology as far as online shows and podcasting. We are. It's been around a long time, but the way we're doing it is next level. So thank you, man. Shouts out to everybody listening to the show. All right. Shouts out to the Tree of Life, the producer to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you to everybody in the chat room once again, and to everybody that sent chat, man. I didn't get a chance to get to a lot of great chat. I appreciate it, but you know you know where my heart is. Shouts out to Waterhead Walter, assistant producer to the show. Dwayne Bassan, Gerald Oliveri, the engineers. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Shouts out to my man Pink Gator for this hot-ass track. And once again, thank you to all the Stewies. All right, we'll do it again tomorrow. Same Doug Stewart time. Same Doug Stewart channel. I took that from Batman. I actually took that. Peace.